1966 baseball season. I'm thinking this ended up being a fun one. So let's get started. On January 20th, when the Baseball Writers Association of America voters elected Ted Williams into the Hall of Fame, and Williams ended up receiving 282 of 302 votes. Wow, that's overwhelming. And in his Hall of Fame speech, Ted Williams ended up wanting and wishing that the Hall of Fame would start adding some of the Negro baseball players, such as Satchel Paige and Josh Gibson and Buck O'Neil. And eventually Satchel Paige gets elected in 1971. So, anyways, March 5th, Union Steelworkers head Marvin Miller is elected executive director of the Major League Baseball Players Association, which is great for the Players Association, but not so much for the owners. March 8th, Special Veterans Committee waives Hall of Fame rules and inducts Casey Stengel into the Hall of Fame. The very recently retired Casey Stengel. April 11th, Emmett Ashford takes the field, becoming the first black umpire in Major League Baseball. The very first. Let's see. Okay, here we go. April 12th, 50,000 plus fans arrive at Fulton County Stadium and watches Atlanta lose to Pittsburgh 3-2 in 13 innings. So there's Atlanta's first home game. I think that was Braves' first game in Atlanta as well. April 19th, California plays its first game at Anaheim Stadium. 31,660 people see Chicago beat them 3-2. California's Rick Reichert scores the first run by a home run. He scores the first run and the first home run. May 8th, Baltimore's Frank Robinson hits the only home run to leave Baltimore's Memorial Stadium. The only home run only ball to leave Memorial Stadium. You thought Mickey Mantle was strong. Frank Robinson was no slouch either. He could hit. May 12th, 46,048 people see St. Louis beat Atlanta 4-3 in 12 innings at the new Busch Stadium. The Cardinals moved into their newer then Busch Stadium, and as you just heard, St. Louis wins. May 14th, San Francisco's Willie Mays passes Mel Ott on the all-time Giants home run list as the New York/San Francisco Giants. Willie Mays hit number 512. June 7th, Kansas City picks Reggie Jackson with their second overall pick. Reggie Jackson, who ends up being a star with the A's when they end up in Oakland. That's only a couple days yet. And then he becomes a bigger star when he ends up joining the Yankees. Yeah, he had a bit of controversy follow him when he ended up in New York, which is interesting. Anyways, July 3rd, Atlanta pitcher Tony Cloninger hits 2 grand slams. 2 grand slams home runs. He is the first NL player and only pitcher in Major League Baseball to hit 2 grand slams in a game. July 9th, AstroTurf is installed at the Astrodome. On September 11th, for all you Nolan Ryan fans, Pat Jarvis is Nolan Ryan's first strikeout victim. And Nolan Ryan ends up with well more than 5,000 strikeouts. On November 18th, Sandy Koufax announces his retirement. As Koufax started with a little bit of mediocrity, it wasn't that great. As I mentioned in an earlier video, threw with demon speed but had no control, which is how he screwed up his arm. Then he was taught and told you don't have to throw so hard to get men out. That's when he started to learn to control his pitches. By then it was too late. He's taking cortisone shots for his arm, and I don't know if cortisone's good for you. I don't think it is. Anyway, then we're going to be mentioning Sandy Koufax again in a minute, because we're going to do the season stats. In the American League, Frank Robinson, the American League batting Triple Crown winner. He had a 316 average, which was American League leader. He had 49 home runs, which led the majors, and he had 122 RBIs, which led the American League. Pitching, Jim Cott of Minnesota, 25 wins, led the American League. Gary Peters of Chicago, 1.98 ERA, led the American League. Sam McDowell of Cleveland, 225 strikeouts, led the American League. National League, Matty Alou, 342 batting average for Pittsburgh, led the majors. Hank Aaron of Atlanta, 44 home runs, led the National League, and 127 RBIs, led the majors. See, Matty Alou got in the way of Hank Aaron's National League Triple Crown. But it happens. And Sandy Koufax ends up the National League pitching Triple Crown winner. Led the majors with the Dodgers pitcher, led the majors with 27 wins, led the majors with a 1.73 ERA, and led the majors with 317 strikeouts, which was quite impressive numbers. Season standings. American League. Baltimore finished first with 97 wins and 63 losses. Minnesota was second with an 89 and 73 record, 9 back. Detroit ended up with 88 and 74. They were 10 back of Baltimore. Chicago went 83 and 79, 15 back. Cleveland went 81 and 81, 17 back. California went 80 and 82, 18 back. Kansas City went 74 and 86, 23 back. Washington went 71 and 88, 25 and a half back. Boston went 72 and 90, 26 back. And the New York Yankees went 70 and 89, 26 and a half back. First time the Yankees finished last since 1912. So that was 54 years in between finishing. Wow, how the mighty had fallen and how the mighty fell. There we go. National League. Dodgers go 95 and 67. Takes the National League pennant. San Francisco went 93 and 68, 15 back. No, sorry, that's 1.5 back. Jeez, didn't even see the decimal. San Francisco was 93 and 68, 1.5 games back. Pittsburgh goes 92 and 70, 3 back. Philadelphia went 87 and 75, 8 back. Atlanta went 85 and 77, 10 back. St. Louis went 83 and 79, 12 back. Cincinnati went 76 and 84, 18 back. Houston goes 72 and 90, 23 back. Mets go 66 and 95, 28 and a half back. And the Cubs go 59 and 103, 36 back. And Baltimore's pennant was their first pennant while in Baltimore, and the second time they won the American League pennant. The first time was as the St. Louis Browns in 1944. So, you got the Baltimore Orioles and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Dodgers home games were at Dodger Stadium, and the Orioles home games were at Memorial Stadium. So, Game 1 in Los Angeles, the Orioles 5, Dodgers 2. Game 2 in Los Angeles, I forgot to put the dates down. Game 2 in Los Angeles, Orioles 6, Dodgers nothing. Game 3 in Baltimore, Orioles 1, Dodgers nothing. 3-game lead. And Game 4 in Baltimore, Orioles 1, Dodgers nothing. Baltimore pitching to shut down the Dodgers. 2 runs in 4 games. In Baltimore ended up scoring 13 in those 4. The Dodgers only 2 runs. Scored one in the second inning of Game 1, and they scored one in the third inning of Game 1. 33 consecutive scoreless innings. Wow. Baltimore was the last of the original 8 American League teams, which is minus the current Washington team and minus the California team. So it was Baltimore / St. Louis, Minnesota / original Washington, Detroit, Chicago, Cleveland, Kansas City / Philadelphia, Boston, and New York. So Baltimore was the last of the original 8 American League teams to win a World Series as a Baltimore / St. Louis franchise. And of course, in 1944, they were the last of the original 8 teams to make it to the World Series. Anyways, this is the last we see the Dodgers in the postseason for a while, and this is the first we see of Baltimore in the postseason. So, yeah, so that's it. So, of course, Baltimore was the second last of the original 16 baseball teams. The 8 of the 10 8 of the National League teams, not including the Mets or Astros, to win a World Series. The last team to win of those original 16 was Philadelphia Phillies, and that's not until 1980. So, anyways, I'm done rambling. So, tomorrow, 1967. Who do we see in the World Series tomorrow? What happens during that season tomorrow? Find out tomorrow. Stay tuned.